we are just to focus. What would you imagine is the current situation that we are in vis-a-vis public trust in our institutions? The second thing I want us to briefly look at is what has eroded public trust in our institutions. What effects can we feel or see in the economy? What must we do to restore public trust? We will have to strengthen our institutions through corporate governance and strong leadership. That is your territory. And then, can we have a common vision as a nation on the way forward? So let's try and figure out, where are we? I don't know if that is the largest you can. Okay, there we are. Now, here is the situation. We are feeling the weight of the public wage bill. It is too heavy. This animation, I'm sure you've seen it before, but let's just try and dissect it a little more. That fellow there is trying to hold this giant foot away, a giant that is putting pressure on him, and below him he's talking of the taxpayer. So clearly, the pressure of the public wage bill is with us. Do we have public trust anymore in our institutions in the context of the pressure they're putting on us? Next is, of course, what we see. That fellow is carrying a briefcase of a pharmaceutical company. We are living in an era where deals and corruption are the order of the day. We can move to the next slide. Now, you may have seen this before in some of our papers. You will, it's a cartoon by this gentleman, Gado. And my comment here is that Kenyans are enlightened people. And more often than not, they know what the problem is. If I ask you here, you will all define the problem without any difficulty whatsoever. You'll describe it so accurately. But then we have a big problem. We have another corona in our midst. There's either the engineer who has played around with the quantities, or the quantity surveyor who has played around with the quantities, amekata shortcut, the road is not properly built, or the road is overpriced. There's a professional somewhere. Those contracts, those simulations, those projections, there's a finance person somewhere, there's an accountant somewhere. Kuna mtoto wa CPAK hapo somewhere. Yeye ndio ananichorea numbers vizuri, ananiambia waziri ama bwana MD, ukitengeneza hivi, nimefanya simulation, hesabu itaingia vizuri, wewe weka sahihi, contract iende mbele. You are somewhere. There's a lawyer somewhere who knows that we are getting a raw deal. But that lawyer, instead of working for the Kenyan side or for the institution that has employed them, and a defect, while seated in that office, that lawyer defects and works for that supplier or that contractor sitting in your office, but his heart or her heart is on the other side. Hata ukimwambia bring the contract so that we can evaluate it, anaambia the supplier, you generate the contract first. So supplier ndio anaanza sasa, yeye kazi yake ni kujaribu ku amend what the supplier has actually generated. These things are happening. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll end there. I have a lot of confidence that if we all pull together, we can make Kenya a better place. We can improve our public institutions. We can restore confidence, restore it in public spaces, and then consolidate on it. We have to save our country, all of us. 2 million jobs have been lost, they say, in the last 1 year because of COVID. The reality is COVID accelerated a bad situation. We are already in a terrible situation. COVID just accelerated it. Leadership. Can we continue be fellows who sit on the fence? The professionals here. What can we do to make sure that the people elected are people who will take these things seriously? If you're talking of managing public debt, but you put in parliament, you put in assemblies, you put in the Senate, people who have no clue. Hata wakati hiyo karatasi inakuja kusema tuongeze ceiling, mtu anasema tupitishe haraka tuende. It happens. Tupitishe haraka tuende bana, kuna shughuli kule. And in the process, very strange things are going through. So as I wind up, I just want to say thank you for inviting me again. I'll continue to be part of your friends whenever you have a session of this nature. But please remember, your role is so critical. Don't be guilty of some of these things. Let us be the ones that will provide a solution going forward.